It is that time of year again when we are at the stores and we are trying to find that perfect holiday gift for everybody on your list. But if you have a fan of the Clouse of the Heart show on your Christmas list this year, allow us to invite you to check out our brand new merchandise store. It is powered by CafePress.com. It is the Clouse of the Heart store, and there you will find hundreds of new items featuring the Clouse to the Heart logo, including hoodies, t-shirts, face masks, a variety of coffee cups, including other mementos, including keepsake boxes and duffel bags, not to mention hats and baseball jerseys, a whole variety of Clouse to the Heart merchandise. There's only one place to find it. It is cafepress.com/CTTH store for everything that is Clouse to the Heart. Hey everybody, welcome to Clouse to the Heart here on YouTube.com. And as you can plainly see, we have a full house this week. Joining me on this very special episode are four awesome people. But fundamentally, Ray, you're going to mess me up right out the gate. I can tell this right now.
That's the plan.
We're going with this. For Michigan Wrestling Organization and Imperial Wrestling Entertainment fans, you know these four faces very well. But for those who may not follow the wrestling products, allow me to introduce to you just four tremendous guys. And they have formed a unique bond with one another. We have Nick Brow, we have Branden Welch, we have Ray Jackson, and Jeremy Painter. Now, MWO and IWE fans know that. Well, let's back up a little bit, because this is where it gets a little bit tricky, especially with you, Nick. So for MWO fans, we have the Archduke, we have Backwoods Bam, we have Roberto Cruz, and the reigning MWO champion, the Alpha Jack Teryn. Now, guys, first of all, let me say right out of the gate, thanks for taking time out of your holiday weekend to sit down with me for a few minutes here, because you have a unique bond between all four of you, and it's as we embark on this week's kind of a topic, I'm focusing on family dynamics, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bound by blood, right? As you guys have clearly demonstrated that, because the four of you come from all walks of life. Your individual stories are very different, but it was the crazy world of professional wrestling that brought all four of you at one time in one spot. So kind of talk me through how you guys met, and Nick, we'll start with you. How did you come in contact with these other individuals here?
Well, me and Ray grew up together. We met when we were about 13, and so like our formative years were spent on and off hanging out, and bonfires in the woods and underage drinking and all that crazy stuff. But what it was I had moved into the neighborhood he had lived in, and I had started talking to some of the other kids, and I was real big into wrestling. And they were like, "Oh, we know another guy who's really big into wrestling." So me and Ray were introduced by all the neighborhood kids because of wrestling, and it was one of those things where we just challenged each other's knowledge on wrestling and things like the history and things like that. And they'll tell you
they want to stop like we're gonna fight. Just throw that out there, like
yeah, they want to see a fight. But so we challenge each other or whatever. We always kind of bumped heads on different things in wrestling, but at the same time, like, it was the love of wrestling that really made us so close, And then with Bam, I was already in the business, and I was doing tattoo work on the side, and I had met Bam doing tattoos, and then Bam and Jeremy had known each other, so I had met Jeremy through Bam, and I mean the rest is kind of history in terms of where that goes.
Okay, so Bam and Jeremy, you two knew each other prior to meeting Ray and Nick, right? So Bam, kind of talk me through how your story, started with Painter.
Yeah. You say, yeah. Well, I've known him since 4th grade. Like I said, I hate to say it, I used to bully him when I first met him. I beat him up every day. Then 5th grade, like, we started becoming a little bit friends in 4th grade, but in 5th grade, we went on a field trip in, the first week of school. I found out he lived, 5 minutes away from me. And then I asked him if he liked wrestling. He said, yeah. And I was like, good, because you're about to backyard wrestle. And that's how
at first,
he bullied him into wrestling.
But a little bit. But then we both had a passion. His uncle showed him all the videos and stuff where I kind of just fell upon it. Watching like I told you, Dudley Boy's putting who is it? I forgot the old lady's name.
Mae Young.
I just spaced that out, but when I seen Mae Young get put through a table, that was it. I was a fan, which is terrible sounding right now, but hey.
So Painter, now when you were being bullied by Bam, I mean, what year are we talking about here?
I was 7 years old.
Oh wow! So you guys go back quite a ways.
Yeah. I had just moved to that school. So I was I'm a new kid and I'm getting bullied right out the go. So
oh God, that's ironic. I would have never known that. So that's kind of funny. So was it the MWO and or IWE that brought the four of you together? That made you guys, that was your introduction to the four of you? And
I can explain this one. Not to
okay.
cut you off. I was anxious to say, first of all, I also used to bully Nick when we were kids.
Oh, come on. No, he didn't. No, let's be fair. He didn't bully me. What he would do is he would come over and he would help us carry groceries. And we used to keep our pop cans at the bottom of the stairs. So every time we carried,
I never took that case of Dr. Pepper, Nick. I never took it.
On the way out the door, he'd grab a case of pop and go take off and run and hide.
I never did. All right, but really, when I broke in, I was getting trained under Chase Barnett, and Zane Silver was there, and Nick was there helping too as well. And he was kind of getting the ring rust off and everything. And then he was booked, I believe, his first or second match for MWO. It was Rumble for Ruby. Crazy crowd. That place was packed. And that was Nick's debut. I kind of came and hang out and just watch the show. He introduced me to Jeremy. That's when I met Jeremy. And then at the very end of the show, he introduced me to Branden. We just kind of shook hands there, and he said, Branden's coming to train tomorrow. And that's when I kind of met these guys, and that's where I met Caesar Asher and Bojack as well, who are Freebirds. And that's kind of how we all got introduced to each other, at least from my perspective.
That sounds about right.
Okay. Well, I couldn't think of a better show for you to really kind of be introduced to the Michigan Wrestling Organization, because that was a huge show for us. I mean, hundreds of people packed that venue. And the more of these backstories that I hear now, you know, especially with newer talent, that one event seems to be a common kind of ground that a lot of, like, you guys came in and really started to be introduced to the company, and okay, this is what I want to do, and you know, it's not long before you're off to the races. Now, given the unique dynamic with, you know, if you were to split this foursome up, I mean, Branden and Jeremy, you know, you guys have one dynamic. Nick and Ray have another. So at what point during your career, as you are embarking on your individual goals and dreams of being involved in professional wrestling, do the four of you, and we should include Caesar Asher and the mighty Bojack. We actually were hoping to have Bojack on here today, but unforeseen circumstances, and we hope everything is okay, obviously. But at what point do you start to kind of form this unique bond between this clique, for the lack of a better term?
I mean, really, it was during the training.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the nights at Nick's trailer when we get real fucked up and he'd forearm the fuck out of us. And
Oh yeah. he says, see, now that didn't even hurt at all, did it? I'm like, seeing sounds.
Rung his bell a little bit.
I know Nick will get a laugh out of this. When I first broke in, when me and Branden first broke in, that's when Nick ended up living with Branden for a little bit, and we would stay up all night just picking Nick's brain. We would just never shut up asking questions, to the point when we stopped asking questions, it was like a breakup. He's like, I see how it is. You don't ask me about psychology anymore and this or that. But we used to go late into the night, and me and Branden would talk till 3, 4 in the morning. That's how we got close. This is before we even really started wrestling too much in MWO or anywhere else. And I think Nick will go to bed early. He's got sleep apnea, right? He passes out anywhere. It's a beautiful thing. I wish I could sleep like that. But yeah, then just one night, me and Branden were drinking beers in his room, just talking, and we were like, he was playing, I think we're listening to Leonard Skinner, and Freebird came on, and we both really like the fabulous Freebirds. And we're like the Freebirds, man. We're, you know, and we had, like, you know, our eyes were too big in the sense, like, we were so green, but we were so hungry. We thought, you know, we were going to be the best out. Like, oh, just wait till the next show. We're going to kill it. We're going to have the best matches or that. And just bouncing everything off each other. And we kind of made an agreement right there that, like, we're going to look out for each other. We're going to work the hardest on the shows. We're going to make an impact regardless, and we're all going to do it together.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is who coined the phrase the Freebirds? And I mean, with relation to your group, because anybody that watches wrestling knows who the fabulous Freebirds were and what a significant impact they made on the business. And anybody that listens to music, you don't even have to be a fan. You know who Leonard Skinner is. You know the song Freebird, but one of the most iconic anthems that's ever been recorded, in my opinion. I mean, whether you like it or not.
And the ultimate way to troll a live band, play Freebird.
Yeah.
True story. So, listen, the one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this here this week is, like I had mentioned earlier, we're talking about family bonds and the relationships that we have in our everyday lives and how important that they are. And the word family can mean a number of different things, all depending on what we're talking about. But the one thing that I wanted to focus on is it doesn't necessarily have to be bound by blood. You know, to have a family is to have, you know, these individuals who come together for one common reason or bond or whatever the case may be, there is a common core of understanding between all individual members. When I started putting ideas together to do this show, to do this topic, the Freebirds, you guys, were the first ones that came to mind, and a lot of it had stemmed from my conversation with Bill Sackman for the podcast a couple of weeks back. But after I got done doing that show and I started realizing, okay, this is what I'm going to tackle this week on YouTube, you guys were my go-to here. And I mean, what is it? I mean, aside from the wrestling aspect, because and I realize that's huge with you guys. I mean, that is kind of a glue that brought all four of you at one time to one place. But aside from the camaraderie of professional wrestling, what is it with the four of you who come from four very different backgrounds that keeps you guys as one family, one Freebird group?
Honestly, it's like it's the brotherhood that it is. You know, like a lot of you know, in professional wrestling nowadays, a lot of the brotherhood has kind of gone away. And you know, people will say they're your brothers, but they're not a good brother. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna come help you change a tire if you need it. They're not, you know, they'll look out for you on the shows, but they're not gonna look out for you in life. And when it comes right down to it, like if you don't have somebody having your back in life, because the mental drain and the road drain and just the physical drain in the business is one of the things that people don't really consider. And when you have somebody that's going through it with you and is able to support you and help you and hold you up, it makes things a lot better and a lot easier. And that's what it is between us. You know, we challenge each other. We're competitive with each other. You know, it really is just like brotherly love, and it's we just want to see each other succeed, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
You hit on a couple of points. Ray, did you want to add something to that?
Oh, I mean, we have a lot in common outside of wrestling as well. I know, like, we're all big fans of music. I know me and Jeremy are really into basketball, and that's kind of like, you know, an MMA and stuff like that. And it's fun to watch, like, every member of the Freebirds get to know, like, a newer guy more, and then kind of create a bond through that person and everything. Because, I mean, we've been really selective on, like, who we let in. Like,
Sure.
I was like, we don't want to be the NWO and let everyone in. And I mean, it's gotten to the point just all the time on the road, getting to know each other in the group chat and everything. It's like how often we talk to each other. Like, we come to each other with some of our biggest issues. Like, when Nick's leg broke, we were there. When I tore my rotator's cuff, they were there. When Adrian lost his testicles in that horrific jet ski accident, we were all there. Like, we were out there for each other. And it's just a brotherhood, like Nick said.
Oh man,
Ray, how the hell did you get that out with a straight face, bro? I don't think I could.
I don't know. As I was saying, I go, say it straight. Say it straight. Get the next line in and you're good.
Jeremy, let me ask you this. And Nick, this will kind of translate to where you are right now, but given what Nick just laid out, and Ray too, to some degree, aside from the testicle issue, now you guys, Nick, you said that, you know, you're there to help one another, to encourage one another, and I know that a lot of that is outside the show venues. That is in real life. That is, you know, if you guys have issues, you know, personal issues, you have that group that you can confide in. Now, Jeremy, when you were coming off probably the best year and a half that you've ever had with the Michigan Wrestling Organization as a performer, you were, I mean, for the majority of that time, you were the guy. You were the MWO champion, the face of the company. You were in all the main events. Was there any kind of I don't know, for the lack of a better term, any kind of friction or maybe professional issues with your Freebird brothers as you were embarking? You were headlining WrestleRamas, and you had this incredible run as the MWO champion. Did you have any kind of ill feelings headed towards your way from the rest of the Freebirds?
No, it was kind of really supportive, especially like the night that I won it. As soon as I came back, like majority of the Freebirds were like right there. And Ray and Bojack ran out there and lifted me up on their shoulders and everything else and taunted me around. So, I mean, there's never really any friction. And we're always very supportive of each other as is.
Okay. Because
Didn't he almost electric chair drop you by mistake when he lifted you on his shoulders?
Hold on to me.
So I mean, it's unique, at least for me, because I mean, you guys are students of the game, both on the independent level as well as mainstream, the big shows, WWE, AEW, that type of thing. And you've heard all the horror stories about all of these different issues within these cliques and within these different groups and factions. Not necessarily what happens in the show, but behind the scenes. And at least from my perspective, I've never heard or been aware of any kind of issues within your group that has forced us to kind of rebook a show, or to kind of, like, if there was a situation where you guys were not getting along and you guys were scheduled to work against one another, there's never been a time where I've had to rewrite a show to keep any of you separated from the other. And I think that is such a telling thing about your guys' group. And I mean, that really solidifies this whole family thing. Now, as a group, and I mean, you guys don't really, I mean, aside from on an occasional Facebook post or something like that, you guys don't walk around the locker room as one unit with your chest puffed up and we're the Freebirds and don't fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. But have you guys ever had any kind of issues from other roster members who feel like you guys may be getting pushed when you shouldn't necessarily be having these pushes or these opportunities? Bam, we'll start with you.
Not really. Not for me personally. Like, most people are pretty cool with me, so I haven't had any issues. I don't know about the rest of the guys, though.
Great.
Yeah, I can't say so at all, honestly. I think we try to be pretty nice to everyone and pretty, like, brotherly around everyone, so there's never really been an issue. Plus, I mean, we got strength in numbers in a way. We got each other's backs, and I would like to think that every one of us has busted our ass, the whole time. So it's like, I feel facts don't lie. It's like we're out there working just as hard as everyone else. So, I could understand if we weren't trying and getting handouts and stuff, but that's never what it's about. Every one of us, we enjoy the grind. It's fun.
I think that's a huge difference. That's one of the things that has set you guys apart from other, groups and cliques that we've had in the locker room is your work ethic. All four of you are among the first to show up to a venue, and and Jeremy, especially you, man. I mean, you are always the first one at the trailer ready to pull the ring off, and we're taking it into a venue and setting up. I mean, all four of you guys are right there, and among the first of the entire roster, and you're always among the last to leave. So I think that really tells a significant thing about your guys' work ethic, and that's probably, in my estimation, why you haven't received a whole lot of friction, because the four of you are booked towards the top of the card, but nobody can argue that you deserve to be in those spots. And Nick, especially for you, with let's go back a little bit. Last year at you knew I was going to bring this up.
The bombs are dropping right now, and the BTS.
The horrific, leg injury that happened at WrestleRama 25 last year.
Yeah, that sucked.
And then, there was, and I heard from a lot of people, he's never going to wrestle again. He may say that he wants to, but he's never going to do this again. And I refuse to believe that, because I know you on a personal level, and I know your drive and your work ethic, and you worked so hard to get back into the ring, into ring shape. You came back and won the bunkhouse brawl. And, that set the course for you to challenge Painter for the MWO Championship at WrestleRama this year. And although it wasn't ideal in terms of how everything went down, COVID and the restrictions and all this stuff, but we were able to get that match in, for the lack of a better term. Do you guys, Nick, I'll start with you here in Painter, but do you guys think that your best matches are with or against other members of the Freebirds, or does that just not matter as long as you have the right chemistry?
I mean, for myself personally, when I look at like what I believe are, like, say, my top 5 matches, a few of those are with people I don't even care for. Like I would rather not talk about, or whatever. But when it comes right down to it, you got to put personal aside and do business.
Sure.
And when you're able to do that, like you're able to have a good match with anybody. So that's kind of how I feel about the other Freebirds. Like, every one of us are willing to put personal aside and do business, because that's the professional thing to do.
It's a very good point. I wish more people adopted that philosophy. Now, Jeremy, you and Branden, you guys have had, over the course of the last several years, one of the marquee rivalries for just about every championship that we have here in the MWO. Is there one match during your guys' rivalry that stands out above the others?
I mean, my favorite match with Branden is when we surprised him at Rama 23.
Yeah.
But I would like, anytime we're in there, it's like he's better than me. I'll admit it, but he makes me go to that next level.
Branden, how about you?
I can't remember which day it was, but it's probably definitely the first match we had at Waterford in our hometown. That was one of the biggest times. That was a real special day for me.
Slamathon, wasn't it?
It could have been. It was after I won the belt at 23. Like the next show after I popped it to him. So that was one of my favorites. So, but there's a lot of them. And
I actually pinned him with my nuts on his face and looked his mother in the eye.
It's good.
He wasn't happy. He kicked his ass.
Hey, Jeremy, you also got powerbombed out of the ring that time, and I was the only one that caught you, and you landed directly on top of my body like a chalk outline in like the booty shorts, trunks, and my mom was in the front row, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Grown man laying on top of me.
That whole time.
I think that Battle Royal, too, is one of my favorite matches. Like, I know you should never plan too much for Battle Royal, but if you watch that back, the Final Four was me, Jeremy, Branden, and Caesar. And the psychology we told with me and Jeremy being on the same team, and I love that match. I thought it was put together so well. But to answer that question myself, I would say, I mean, it don't matter too much who I work. If you got it, you got it. And I could be such a douchebag heel, for lack of better words. I think I can get away working with pretty much anyone if I bring my style into it. But I mean, I've worked with Jeremy since I debuted. We've been on the same team this entire time, and I've had some of my best matches against Nick and with Nick as a tag partner. And when I first broke in, me and Bam fought each other tooth and nail for almost a year. So at least these three guys, like, always been good chemistry and a lot of fun for that matter. It makes things extra exciting, you know.
You know, I
Hey.
had the opportunity to see the PF tribute show that IWE did in September. And Nick, I think it was you I was talking to. Maybe it was you, Ray. I don't remember, but you guys are tag team partners in IWE as Cream Street Mafia. And it was my first time really seeing that presentation live in person. And I thought, you know, knowing where you guys are in the MWO and how you're booked and your characters, Nick, you portray a completely different, you know, character with us that you do with IWE. But my God, the chemistry between Nick and Ray on that day was simply off the charts. And for me, that was probably the one match that made me go, wow, this was incredible. And
Thank
a lot of it,
Thank you.
and you guys worked with the Dean boys. You know,
It's hard to have a bad match with the Dean boys.
for sure, for sure. But your entire presentation as Cream Street Mafia, which is something totally different than what you guys are doing with the MWO, really hammered home just that bond between you two as tag team partners, because you can really see, and this goes for all four of you, you know, with anytime, you know, Bam is out there with anybody, and Bam, you are in kind of a unique situation because you're very much involved with the Freebirds thing, but you are also a crucial part of Hoss Fight. So is it a lot of the same chemistry that makes, you know, your inclusion in these different groups? Is it what makes it work?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I just, like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's a little crap talking between each group, but it's nothing but love. So, like,
Right.
it's much the same thing. It's like two brotherhoods. I got real lucky with meeting both these groups of guys. Like the Freebirds, like I said, we've known each other. I've known Nick since I was 18. I met Ray through HCW, Jeremy and Ray and Adrian. Bill and Cody, we met through MWO. Nate Dogg, Tweety, we met through IWE. I mean, I love all. And then
Yeah,
when it
there's-
comes
Oh, Pope and Aaron too, to name them all.
to Pope and Aaron,
yeah,
I've known
there's quite a few Freebirds now, but
11.
Pope known since sixth grade, seventh grade. And when it comes to Hoss Fight, the reason I'm so close with them guys is like Fat Tony got me my first ever booking and pretty much took me under his wing for the last 4 years, and Rick Cartier and Big Jeff and
your big your debut match was against Big Jeff, wasn't it?
yeah.
Your pro debut.
Yep, my first ever match against Adrian Anderson. Last call, Adrian Anderson. But yeah, it's a good name. And yeah, I got real lucky with both these groups. Like, thank God every day for the blessings, to be honest. Because you know, both groups like there from whenever anything went bad. Like especially Ray, like that motherfucker's been with me at 2:00 in the morning watching me cry and then just telling me shit's gonna be okay. Like, so it's just a.
But you thanked me for that years later, and I was like, I never thought I was like doing anything extra or anything. I just
Being a friend.
yeah, I kind of blew my mind. So I mean, anytime, man. Anytime, brother.
Always.
This is why I wanted you guys on here this week, because it's that kind of camaraderie that I really wanted to bring out on this episode, and in its purest form, there it was. You weren't expecting anything, but you just know that you guys have each other's backs. And Branden, without going into detail, you know, I know, you know, you've gone through these bouts of depression and just really having a real hard time at certain cases. I've reached out to you a few times, but I also know that, you've got, Painter and Nick and Ray and Caesar and Bojack too, I would imagine. How important is it, just from a psychological advantage that these guys have, you guys have each other's backs. You know what I mean? So at no point are you walking into any kind of situation 100% by yourself or alone. How important is that to you guys?
100%. Like, one of the biggest things that fuel us, like being there for each other, good times or bad, even when we're talking crap or don't matter, we're just there for each other. That's the most important.
I can't tell you how many times me and Bam have gotten into just verbal shouting matches and just yelling at each other, butting heads before a show.
It's cool.
Or sometimes it feels like Jeremy and Bam would get into it every other month, like all mad at each other. And I'll point this story out when we were at the studio. Remember, Branden, where you remember this, Jeremy? He was just chopping your ass up in the corner, and I'm at ringside. I'm like, I'm good friends with you too, Jeremy. I was like, fuck this. So I was like, we were supposed to do a little run-in at the end of the match and get a DQ, and I was like, second I get in here, I'm fucking Branden up. And I did. No, nothing personal, but he remembers I nailed him, and he told me, chill the fuck out or something. I don't really remember. So fast forward to, I don't remember, it was at the Sprint store when I was in the triple threat with Branden and Bojack. And he just nailed me so hard with the forearm. And I'm like, easy, brother. And then keep going. He gives me another one. I'm like, easy, bro. What the hell? And then 2 weekends ago at Ariana's birthday party at Bill's house, he tells me outside that night, like, oh, those were receipts for when you stiffed me after the match at the studio. I said, it was like a year in between. I had no idea that's why. I just thought you just hit me too hard. But yeah, if you ever have a problem with each other, just hit snug and safe, and we'll be good afterwards.
Yeah, we squash it between ourselves, man. We handle it like men.
That's fantastic. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to go around the horn here. Do you guys have a favorite story that not a lot of people may know about? It doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling related, but is there one story when you think about the Freebirds, this is your go-to story? Ray, let's start with you.
Dear.
Yeah, I'm going to steal the obvious one. We actually have recorded, I think, 6 Birdcasts before, Freebird podcasts, which can never be released ever because they are so offensive. In the first 5 minutes, we would just be crucified for it. So, like, we were recording one of these podcasts on the way back from IWE. We may have been a little brothered up, maybe a little bit. And in the middle of the conversation, you just hear in the podcast, deer, and the brakes, and this deer jumped out in front of Jeremy's car, and he just smoked this deer, went flying in the air, and everyone's panicking. You hear Adrian in the background, go, 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 go. And that's when Caesar asked, hey, guys, you think that was a zombie deer? Remember that, Jeremy? I stopped and said, what the hell did you just say? A zombie deer? And that's probably my favorite stories just in general, that or just the long trips home, just a lot of inside jokes and just fun stories, just the road life, the gypsy life, as we like to call it.
Right.
It was on the same exact ride. We're continuing to drive after the deer. And he looked Bam dead in the eyes like, we're going to die. And it was one of those streets where you just got to turn left or right. And he's just screaming like a woman at Bam right in the face.
Stop laughing at him. I'll never forget it.
What about when you almost died, Branden? You remember that in your truck?
Yeah. That was always a fun. Nope. You can tell that.
That was a snowstorm leaving the MWO show.
Me, Bam, and Adrian, and we were screaming like girls. Like when
you trying to hit the freeway and almost go off the freeway.
Yeah, we spun all the way off into the other side of the freeway, facing the same way cars were coming at us. So it took me 2 minutes just to turn back around. But if we would have went an inch more, we would have went off like the side of the road, which was like a 50-foot drop. It was I remember that car, it went up in the air. I remember looking down at Ray and just thinking to myself, like, this is how we die. Like, this is it.
I looked at one spot in the grass on the side of the road, and for some reason I was like, that's where I'm hitting when we roll. I go, that's where I'm done.
And we landed safely, and we sat there for about 20 to 30 minutes. And I was like, all right, guys, I think I'm ready to drive again. But
Oh.
Oh, Nick, what about you, brother?
Oh man, Brandon's gonna kill me for this one. We me, Ray, and Brandon were driving up to IWE one time, and we like to go through and compare ourselves to different like movies and TV shows and who would be who or whatever. And so we were talking about trimmers, and Ray goes, Brandon, you'd be Kevin Bacon, and Brandon goes, cool, at least I'll be the hot one.
Which I like the other lead guy better. He's cooler anyways, but, you know. So if he ever asks you to pick him up a Baconator, he's not talking the sandwich.
Love you,
Hey, Brandon, what about when you pooped your pants in the bunkhouse brawl?
I never did that. I tell you 400 times, I never crapped myself in the bunkhouse brawl.
You got slammed, and someone was like,
No. I was kicking Marvel, and I happened to pass some gas, and I could not stop it. And it fell.
That
man, said everyone in the ring?
It lingered so.
Everyone was in the ring saying, who shit themselves? Who shit themselves?
I had Taco Bell the night before. I didn't I had bad gas.
Or what about, I always get really bad anxiety before a match, and I always feel like I'm going to shit myself on the first bump. And I went out there and worked John Campbell at an outdoor show at the bridge.
Oh, this one was great.
Dumped a bottle of water down my trunks. And I come walking backstage, I have all this water in the back of my trunks, and Brandon's there. I go, finally happened, brother. He goes, what? I go, I shit my pants out there. He's like, well, I go, why do you say that? I go, my pants are soaked. I shit myself. He goes, well, you did have a whole bottle of water poured down your shorts. Like, oh, yeah, that's what happened.
Oh my God!
Damn it!
See, I'm shocked that you didn't tell the story about when back at my house when Nick lived with us. Remember when you used to go to work at night? Was that night and me and you were getting drunk in the day and we passed out? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and he came back and you're like, oh, I can set a spot for you to sleep on the floor. Just I'm tired to take a nap. Nick comes back from work. It's like two grown men just sleeping at like 8 o'clock. You guys good? Like, yeah, wrestling. Get up and start talking shop again.
Drink a little bit more. Had some fun.
Oh my goodness! Well, you guys, I can't thank you enough for your time this week. This has been a lot of fun, and you mentioned the podcast thing, the Freebirds podcast. I don't know, man. I when you said that, a light bulb went off. I may have to have you guys on the actual podcast at some point too, in some sort of reoccurring role, because this was a lot of fun, and it was number one. It's good to see the four of you in some way, shape, or form. You know, it's been long time for one, and two.
It's good to see you too, Jason.
Yep.
We haven't. I mean, what is it's been a few months now.
Yeah. When we filmed Rama in September, that was last time we were all together, and when you're used to a schedule that had us like every other week for a while there, it's been difficult. There's no doubt about it. We've all been going through our own individual challenges and obstacles and stuff like that, but with you guys, and this obviously includes Caesar and Bojack and Bill and Cody as well, but
Nate, Aaron, and Pope. And sorry, there's a lot.
Absolutely. It's good to know that you guys have that support system, and you can obviously tell the level of love and admiration and just as importantly, respect between the four of you, and I would imagine it goes throughout everybody else that's under this Freebird umbrella. And that's why I wanted you guys on here. So I certainly appreciate it. And I'm very much looking forward to getting past all this COVID shit so that we can resume some sort of normalcy, right? So with that, for Jeremy Painter, for Branden Welch, for Ray Jackson, and for Nick Brow, we certainly appreciate them coming on the show this week. We certainly appreciate you for taking time out of your week to give the show a watch. And for everything under the CTTH umbrella, check us out online at clousetotheheart.net and check out the new podcast. It drops this Tuesday at midnight. So until next time, we certainly we appreciate your support. Be awesome to yourselves and to each other. And we'll see you next time right here on the Clouse to the Heart show on youtube.com.
Can you guys see me? I can't see myself.
It
hear you.
looks like, I don't know, dude. It looks like somebody with a neck tattoo and a purple mohawk.
What? Oh, that's my cat.
All right. You still fucking around with it, Ray, or are we just?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay. Your cat has a purple mohawk and a neck tattoo.
It's a toy. You guys see me? This is bullshit. I was planning on making fun of you guys, not the other way around. Well,
It's that smartphone that's stupid.
then yeah, right, Nick. They trace shit from outer space. That's not stupid.
Well, I mean, the important thing is I can hear you. Worst case is I'll just throw a graphic over your square with your promo pic or something.
I wore my nicest pair of Zumbas and everything.
Well, I appreciate you getting dressed up on a Sunday, Ray. That's great.
Yeah, Jeremy said that to me one time. Like, I showed up to a show, I wore like a vest over my hoodie. He's like, "See, you came dressed up today." Go still wearing sweatpants.
Breaking.
Are you shaving the cat? What are we doing here? Oh, this is ridiculous. I can't wait to edit this part of it for the outtakes. This is fantastic. Okay, there's Nick. Ray's trying here.
I was trying to figure it out for him on my end here. See if I can't guide him through it, but
Well, now you're off the screen.
I'm off the. Oh well, here I'll just take him.
Man.
Huh. Okay, Ray Jackson left.
Nick,
What?
your picture's gone.
My picture's gone. Shouldn't be.
He's on mine. I have Jeremy, Brandon, and Nick. I can see all three of you guys right now.
I can see all three of you too.
Okay, Ray Jackson joined. There.